Hey, so are you so excited because spring is here? I don't know about you, but I love summertime and I love the springtime, and spring I feel like it's finally here. I looked outside today and I noticed that on my dogwood tree, which sits outside my window, the buds are starting to come. Like, look at that, there's green and they're starting to grow, and I'm so excited because I love my dogwood tree. It produces these absolutely beautiful flowers. I have one that is white and one that is pink, and I love it. And as I'm thinking about what should I teach next for our art project, I thought about my dogwood trees and I thought about how it could make some awesome artwork. I love using colored pencils, and I thought we could use colored pencils to draw one of the dogwood blooms. Now, of course, my trees aren't blooming yet, but they will be super soon. And so I wanted to go ahead and create some artwork that reminded me of my dogwood trees. The great thing about the dogwood is there's this awesome legend about the dogwood tree that says that it was actually the tree that was chosen to make Jesus's cross from. So I wanted to show you my dogwood tree because, as you can maybe see here, the thing is twisted and turned, and you all might not realize it, but I am only 5'1", and here is where the tree is starting to branch off. So I'm saying that the trunk of this tree, I think it might only be like 2 feet. So anyways, the point is it's not big enough to make a cross out of. But there was this legend that was started, and I don't know how much truth there really is to it, but it says that the cross of Jesus was created from the dogwood tree. And I know that we just went through the Easter season, so I thought this is so perfect. The dogwoods are going to be blooming soon, and we just came through the Easter season, so what a perfect time to draw a dogwood bloom. Now, the legend has it that the dogwood tree used to be as big as an oak tree. I don't know if you have an oak tree in your backyard, but I'm gonna walk over here because I do have an oak tree as well in my yard and show you that the oak tree is much larger. Now, my oak tree is not looking the greatest these days. There was a storm that happened to it, and it got struck by lightning, so it's looking a little sad, but I wanted to show you how big the tree was in comparison to my dogwood. If you don't know anything about wood, oak wood is considered to be of a high quality, and it is very strong wood. And legend has it that the dogwood tree used to be of a similar high quality and used to have a similar size to it. And that's why it was chosen to be used for the cross of Jesus, because in that area in the Middle East where Jesus would have lived, there were not many trees. Legend has it that this dogwood tree was a very large, nice tree like the oak tree that they could produce a cross from. So I'm here at my oak tree. I'm going to just turn this camera around and show you. Now, I'm walking away from it, so it does look like I am nearly as tall as the tree, but that is not true. Let me back up here to the tree and show you that it is very large. And I don't think that this is a super old oak. Some of these oaks can be very, very, very large. It's a super strong wood, very hard wood, and a large tree that you could get a nice piece of furniture out of. And so they say that the dogwood tree was of a similar size and of a similar quality, and that they used it to create the cross of Jesus. And then legend has it that Jesus said after he died, you know, you suffered so much knowing what you went through as I hung on you, and I will never allow you to have to experience that kind of suffering again. So therefore you will no longer be of a large size where somebody could create a cross from you again. And so he caused the dogwood to never grow that large again. And I don't know if that's true or not, but it is a nice story, because the dogwood tree is not only of a small size, only about 2 feet before it starts branching, but it has these beautiful blooms that they say kind of appear like to have a lot of similarities to the Easter story. Like the dogwood often has white blooms. There are pink dogwoods, which is the one that we will draw today. But the white bloom ones, they think that they were made to represent Jesus's purity. In the center of the dogwood, there's, like at the dogwood bloom, there's this bunch of, I don't know if it's seeds. I'm gonna pretend like they're seeds because I don't know what they are, but it looks like this little cluster of thorns, and they say it's like it has its own little thorns inside the bloom of this dogwood tree. And then it also said that the way the petals of the bloom look, it's 4 of them, and if you look at it, it looks like a cross, they say. So that's the legend of the dogwood tree, and either way, it's a cool story, and I think that this is going to be a fun project for you. Today, what you will need is a piece of drawing paper and some colored pencils and a graphite pencil. If you do not have a bunch of colored pencils around to use, you can use crayons and get a similar effect, or you could just use your graphite pencil and shade it. You know, the shading is something that I almost thought about using for this project, but I wanted to switch it up. So shading it with lights and darks would be great. Just look up a picture of a dogwood and then turn it into black and white, and that will really help you. I'll put the link to the reference image that I used in the description below. I hope you enjoy, and I can't wait to see what you create.
So to get started, I'm just going to make a rough little sketch of where the ends of each petal are. Now, I do this very light, and sometimes I tend to erase a lot whenever I'm setting up a drawing at first. This is the number one thing that I have students ask me often, is how to get started. So this is my recommended way of starting any drawing, is to kind of make some lines to give you a guide of where you want the object that you are going to put on your paper. Some people do that by drawing a box and kind of deducting away from it. I tend to like to just kind of put in little marks where the ends of things should be, like the ends of these petals. And then from there, I start shaping the petals, as you can see, more in towards the center. And I put a circle in for where the center is going to be. Now, if you're having trouble seeing what I'm drawing, it's because I'm trying to keep it as light as possible, because at this stage, I could still end up erasing something and you won't see it on my paper. So it makes it very nice. So just looking at the flower, the reference image, and trying to draw things as close to what I see there. But again, in the end, nobody really ever sees your reference image, and so you don't have to worry about it looking exactly like your reference image, because unless you show people your reference image, they would not know what you're looking at. So as you can see, it's starting to shape up a little bit more and look like 2 little dogwood tree flowers. Now I'm going to start shading or coloring it more with some different colored pencils. Now I happen to have a set of colored pencils that has 48 colored pencils. Most people probably just have a regular set of 12, if you even have colored pencils. So I will tell you what color I'm using, but then tell you how to get it with just your regular set. Right now I'm using a light pink. So when you're using the light pink, I use a light pressure, and then I switch over to a dark pink, but you can just switch over to using a harder pressure on your colored pencil, your pink colored pencil. Trying to put in, some of the lines that we see on a dogwood flower, and then just adding in some of the darker shades of pink in there. So just pressing harder on your pink will help with that. Colored pencils are a great medium to use in art because you can layer it and make it almost look like a painting, but you have the detail and precision of using a pencil. So they're just a great medium, and I really love them. Now I am using a light yellow. So if you have a light yellow, that's great to use, but if you don't, you could use white to do this. And I'm just going over my pink areas and then filling in the white areas. The dogwood tree that I was looking at looked a little bit more cream colored in the flowers than white. But white will work as well because some dogwoods have more of a white appearance. Also, I'm going over the pink with that cream color, because it does this effect where it kind of blends the colors together. It's called burnishing, and it makes it look more like a painting and look more filled in. It's really cool. You should try it. And then after that, I pick up my green and start filling in the middle first, really light with the green, and then using it darker in between where those little circles would be for the little seeds inside the flower. I think they're seeds. So you just make little circles and color in between there darker with your green. And then later I'll go in and fill in the little circles with a yellow green, but you could just fill it in with yellow if you don't have a yellow green. I'm going to take a brown and really lightly on the edges use this brown to add in a little bit of the appearance of wilting. On the picture I was looking at, it kind of looked like they were wilting a little bit right there, so I wanted to add that in. Any little effect like that you can see to add in always will add definition and a realistic appearance. And the next thing I did was I grabbed a bluish purple and I'm adding some shadows in. Now this is an artistic choice for you. I thought it would look really cool and I liked the effect in the end, but some of you may look at this bluish purple and not like the way it looks on your flower. And so you do not have to do the bluish purple. If you are like, man, that does not look good, what is she thinking? Then please do not use it. But after I use the bluish purple in a couple spots to add a little bit of shadow, I take the light pink back over it so that way it blends it in a little bit more. If you want, you can do this, like I said. If you don't feel like you have to. And that finishes it up for our flowers. So now we have 2 dogwood tree flowers just kind of floating in the middle of the paper. So I'm going to create a branch for them to be attached to. If you like just the flowers just floating there, it's fine. You know, you can leave them there like that. Like I said, artistic choices like adding in the dark blue or putting these on a branch are all up to you, and you get to decide, what do I like? In the end, the goal is to have a piece of artwork that you are proud of and you would want to gift or show to someone. So maybe you like the dogwoods just sitting there and the rest of the paper being blank, or maybe you feel like, I don't like the rest of the paper being blank because the picture itself does not have a big blank space in it. So if you want to fill up that space, you can add in those kind of blurry looking dogwood flowers in the background. And so I'm doing that right now just by adding everything in really light in the background so that it takes up space. But that's an artistic choice and you get to decide, do you want that or not? And if you do, go for it, and if you don't, then skip it. And that's it. That's our dogwood drawing in colored pencil. If you do not have colored pencils, you could use crayons and get a similar effect, but markers will not give you a similar effect. So I would say do this project in graphite pencil if you do not have colored pencil or crayon.